Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're breaking down an exciting episode of The Kelly Clarkson Show. It's Season 6, Episode 10, airing on October 4th, 2024. Whether you're a longtime fan of Kelly Clarkson or just love daytime TV, this episode is packed with entertainment, emotions, and some big surprises. So grab a snack, sit back, and let's dive into all the highlights and moments you don't want to miss. Season 6, Episode 10 Episode Summary. The upcoming episode of The Kelly Clarkson Show promises to be an exciting mix of music, celebrity guests, and heartfelt stories. This episode features a special segment called Kellyoke Encore, where Kelly Clarkson will perform the classic hit New Attitude by Patti LaBelle. Fans of both Kelly and Patti LaBelle can look forward to a lively and energetic performance that showcases Kelly's powerful voice. Joining the show are special guests Kristen Bell and Adam Brody. Both actors are known for their engaging personalities and will likely share fun stories and insights about their careers. Their chemistry with Kelly is sure to create a lighthearted atmosphere, making for an entertaining conversation. In addition to the musical and celebrity segments, the episode will highlight the Playing Dice with God initiative. This segment aims to shed light on important social issues and will likely feature inspiring stories that resonate with many. Comedian Lean Morgan will also make an appearance, bringing her unique humor to the show. The episode will take a moment to spotlight the Pike Place Market Foundation in Seattle, showcasing the important work being done to support the community. Andrew Zimmern, known for his adventurous culinary explorations, will also be part of the show, adding his perspective on food and culture. Guest host Roy Wood Jr. will be at the helm for this episode, bringing his comedic flair and charm. With a lineup like this, viewers can expect a fun and memorable hour that blends music, laughter, and meaningful conversations. This episode of The Kelly Clarkson Show is sure to be one not to miss. Kelly Clarkson set to honor a foreigner at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Pop superstar Kelly Clarkson is about to rock the stage once again, but this time with a twist. The former American Idol winner will be helping to induct legendary band Foreigner at the 2024 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ceremony. Clarkson's big announcement. Clarkson shared the exciting news on her talk show, saying, "This is pretty cool. In 2 weeks, I'm gonna be at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony because I get to help honor the legendary band Foreigner, which I am so stoked about." The singer was visibly thrilled, adding, "It's gonna be so good. I am so honored. I hope I don't mess up." The Rock Hall also confirmed her involvement on Instagram, stating that Clarkson would be performing to celebrate the wild career of Foreigner, one of the most iconic bands in rock history. When will she perform? Though it's still under wraps which Foreigner song Clarkson will perform, she's no stranger to the band's music. Back in 2016, she gave a heartfelt rendition of "I Want to Know What Love Is," dedicated to the victims of the Orlando nightclub tragedy. It wouldn't be surprising if she brought that emotional power back to the stage for this special honor. Following in famous footsteps. Interestingly, Clarkson isn't the first American Idol alum to take the Rock Hall stage. Last year, Carrie Underwood performed during a tribute to George Michael, proving that Idol winners can hold their own amongst rock legends. With Clarkson's powerhouse vocals and Foreigner's timeless hits, this year's ceremony is sure to be a standout moment. Keep your eyes on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. This is one performance you won't want to miss. Kelly Clarkson, Chris Pratt, Halle Berry, and more celebrities who once were homeless. Some of Hollywood's wealthiest stars were once so down and out they were forced to live in their cars, in homeless shelters, and even on the streets. But their resilience paid off, and now they have millions in the bank and a multitude of mega mansions. Kelly Clarkson. Kelly Clarkson shot to stardom after being crowned the first American Idol, but before auditioning for the show, the Miss Independent singer was forced to sleep in her car. I moved from Texas to LA with a random stranger, Kelly recalls. She just needed a roommate. I was like, I'll do it. But the arrangement didn't last long because the place where they were living caught on fire. So then I slept in my car for a few days and then tried out for a show called American Idol, so it all worked out. It definitely did. After she won the singing competition in 2002, the cash started rolling in, thanks to hits like Since You've Been Gone, a gig as a coach on The Voice, and her own talk show. You've really got to want your dream, Kelly, 42, says. The universe makes you really want it. Chris Pratt. The well-heeled hunks movies, including the Jurassic World flicks and Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, have earned over $5 billion at the box office. But before Chris Pratt bagged his big break on the WB's Everwood and got guffaws on Parks and Recreation, he was a homeless beach bum in Hawaii. Chris, 45, says after graduating high school, he took up a pal's offer for a one-way ticket to Maui. But he explains the move meant he wound up camping on the beach for a year with his friends, and sometimes sleeping in a van. The screen stud, who married Arnold Schwarzenegger and Maria Shriver's daughter, Catherine, in 2019, had only $60 in his pocket when he was offered a role in Cursed, Part 3, which brought him to Los Angeles and paid him $700. Now, Chris is said to be worth nearly $100 million and has 6 projects and counting in the pipeline. Kelsey Grammer. The sitcom star, 69, suffered through trying times while he was studying acting at the famed Juilliard School in New York City. Despite taking on 2 jobs to get by, Kelsey still lacked enough dough to put a roof over his head and slept in a park for a few weeks. Fortunately, the weather cooperated. It was still warm enough I could actually sleep there for only a few weeks, he says. I could sneak behind a certain bush and cover myself with the newspaper, and I was fine, and I showered over at Juilliard. The Fraser alum considers himself lucky to have avoided any serious problems while sleeping in a potentially dangerous place. Whatever it was, he notes, there was always something that kept me safe. Sylvester Stallone. Before he scored his knockout success as Rocky, a cash-strapped Sylvester was forced to sleep in New York's notoriously seedy Port Authority bus terminal for 3 weeks after being evicted from his apartment in 1970. Desperate for a quick cash infusion, he accepted a starring role in a porn movie that paid $200 for 2 days' work. It was either do that movie or rob someone, because I was at the end, the very end, of my rope. The Golden Globe winner faced several more years of poverty before he started flying high as Rocky. At one point, he was so broke he sold his dog Buckus for $50 because he couldn't afford to feed him. After the movie became a huge hit, the Rambo star never had to worry about money again and was able to buy his dog back. Halle Berry. Just 3 months after the beauty pageant winner moved to New York City in 1989 to pursue a modeling career, her savings ran out and she found herself living in a homeless shelter. I called my mother and asked her to send me some money, and she said no, and that subsequently led to a year of not speaking to her because I was so upset that she wouldn't help me, the Monsters Ball actress recalls. But looking back, the Oscar winner, 58, appreciates her mom's tough love. That's probably one of the best things she did for me. She said, if you want to be there, then you work it out, and I had to work it out. And for the X-Men star, giving up was never an option, and her resilience definitely paid off. Hilary Swank. The $1 Million Baby star's childhood was anything but swanky. Her early years were spent in a trailer park in the coastal city of Bellingham, Washington. But that was the lap of luxury compared to what happened next. After her parents separated, Hilary, then 15, and her mom moved to Los Angeles. We first lived in her Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme on quiet residential streets. When we weren't sleeping in the car, we stayed at the house of a new friend my age whose family had just moved out and were trying to sell their home. We slept on an air mattress. When her mom finally landed a job, they were able to afford to rent a bedroom from a single mother in Burbank. Despite her many successes, Hillary, 50, hasn't forgotten her humble roots. Growing up in a lower-income family infuses your character with a lot of drive and determination, she says. Shania Twain. Growing up in Ontario, Shania's family was often strapped for cash. They couldn't afford boots, so Shania and her sisters tied plastic bags over their shoes in winter and would often eat goulash, dry bread with boiled milk and sugar, for dinner. As an 8-year-old, Shania began performing in bars between midnight and 1 a.m. to earn $20 to help pay the family's bills. At one point, her mother fled her abusive husband, taking Shania and her siblings with her to a homeless shelter. That night, we slept in a crowded, sweltering place on cot-like beds spread out along the walls of a series of spacious, open rooms designed for large groups, she recalls. Today, the That Don't Impress Me Much singer, who is the best-selling female artist in country music history, is worth over $400 million. But Shania, 59, says, "I'm neither embarrassed of who I am, where I come from, what I've experienced." Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, the wrestler-turned-actor, 52, suffered more than a few body slams before he ever entered a WWE ring. When the future Fast and Furious star was growing up, money was scarce, and his family was frequently evicted and, at one point, ended up homeless. But not having a roof over his head motivated him in the gym. Started training hard at 14 years old. He posted on Instagram in 2015. Not for fame or a competition, but because we were evicted from our small apartment in Hawaii. I really hated that feeling of helplessness and never wanted that to happen again. So I did the only thing I could control with my own 2 hands. I trained. His fit physique eventually scored him a starring role with the WWE. Hollywood came calling next, and now the former homeless kid is worth $800 million. Dr. Phil. Longtime show host Phil McGraw doled out heartfelt guidance on his self-named talk show for decades to those down on their luck. But the former TV mental health expert lived his very own nightmare as a homeless teen. Dr. Phil, 74, now has an estimated net worth of $460 million. But at 15, he was forced to live in a car in Kansas City with his cash-poor pop, Joseph, who was interning as a psychologist. There was no money for anything, and when I say anything, I mean anything, recalls Phil, who admits even after there was a roof over their heads, it was months before they had heat or electricity. The father and son would eventually work in the same practice, and Phil later found fame and fortune in the 1990s by delivering down-home advice on TV. Jewel. Folk singer Jewel, 50, shot to success with 1995's Pieces of You, which is one of the best-selling debut albums of all time and spawned the hit single Who Will Save Your Soul. But the Foolish Games singer had a rocky road to stardom. During her childhood in Alaska, Jewel lived in a rural residence that didn't have electricity or plumbing. But the songbird says she fled an abusive home at 15 and found herself on the streets, experiencing crippling panic attacks and shoplifting to get by. "I realized I was going to end up in jail or dead if I didn't do something," she admits. "I never drank and never did drugs my whole life. The poverty cycle was just really hard to break." But plucky Jewel found a way to pursue her dreams and is now said to be sitting on a $14 million fortune. William Shatner. The Star Trek legend, 93, boldly went where most celebrities never have to go, into the universe of homelessness. Incredibly, he went bust after his 3-year run as Captain James T. Kirk on the iconic show. With no home to beam himself into, he was forced to live in his pickup truck. "It was the early 1970s, and I was recently divorced," William recalls. "I had 3 kids and was totally broke. I managed to find work back east on the straw hat circuit, summer stock, but couldn't afford hotels, so I lived out of the back of my truck, under a hard shell. It had a little stove, a toilet, and I dried from theater to theater. The only comfort came from my dog, who sat in the passenger seat and gave me perspective on everything. Jim Carrey. Jim, 62, hit tough times as a teen in Canada when his dad lost his job and the family, which included his folks and 2 siblings, was forced to live in a tent for 8 months. When my father lost his job, I was pissed, confesses the Dumb and Dumber star. For a while, we went to campsites around Ontario and used the facilities there. Eventually, his dad found a job in a factory, but the family had to serve as janitors and security guards there in exchange for housing across the street. In a 2003 interview, Jim admitted the ordeal robbed him of his childhood. He said he ended up being the adult and trying to take care of everything. Still, he's able to joke about it, cracking, "Of course, I grew up in Canada, so I thought we had just gone camping." Kelly Clarkson to help induct Foreigner into Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, with tribute performance back in February. Sir Paul McCartney succinctly summed up what many had been thinking for years. Foreigner? Not in the Hall of Fame. What the f? Foreigner co-founder Lou Gramm even admitted he had given up ever achieving that particular milestone. But when all the votes had been tallied, the arena rock legends had received their invitation to the vaunted Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They will officially be inducted during an October 19 ceremony in Cleveland, Ohio, and first ever American Idol winner Kelly Clarkson will be there to welcome them. Kelly Clarkson is so stoked to honor Foreigner. On Thursday, October 3, Kelly Clarkson announced her role in the upcoming Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony from the set of her daytime TV program. "Well, this is pretty cool. In 2 weeks, I'm going to be part of this year's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony," Clarkson said, "because I get to help honor the legendary Foreigner, which I am so stoked about." The ceremony will stream live Saturday, October 19, at 7 p.m. Eastern on Disney+. With just under 3 weeks to prepare, Clarkson admitted she is already freaking out about it. "I hope I don't mess up," confessed the Chemistry singer. "But I'll smile through it if I do." Unlikely, we think. Kelly Clarkson has received just about every available accolade in the music industry, and she regularly conquers other artists' songs during the Kellyoke segments of her Emmy-winning show. Kelly Clarkson will join a star-studded lineup in helping induct Foreigner to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Sammy Hagar, Guns N' Roses guitarist / Red Hot Chili Peppers drummer Chad Smith, and Demi Lovato will also honor the rock legends. Foreigner themselves are also set to perform. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel Jaxcey N24. Thank you for watching.